Hey guys, welcome to another video. Yeah, today I want to talk about my man Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder, since he's put out a video a couple of days ago, which went viral and which had a lot of criticism behind it because he's accusing Tyson Fury of cheating in both fights, and as we all know, should I say, he lost the second fight, so he lost the rematch against Tyson Fury, and there was a lot of controversy behind it. Why is Wilder looking the way he's looking? Why is he so shaky on his legs? Why does he have those weird facial expressions? And why was Fury able to put him down two times and ultimately stop him then in the seventh round with the help of the referee and of course his former trainer Mark Breland? And I have a very different opinion about all of this, as you can possibly imagine, because I think, uh, first, all the people who heard about those rumors that he feels cheated said, okay, Wilder's not saying anything. So until he's not saying anything, I'm not going to believe any of that, any of those rumors that are circling around. And guess what? Since he put out the video where he's talking about everything that he feels that happened in both fights. People say he's delusional, he's still not over it, he's got some mental issues, he should probably retire and all sorts of and all sorts of that. So it's very disheartening to see that somebody who really feels betrayed is basically called a liar and somebody who's making stuff up. Well, let me tell you one thing, guys. For all of you who say, okay, I'm not going to say anything until he says something, and now still say, okay, well, Fury beat you fair and square, and he battered you, and you had absolutely no chance to match him. So that's all delusional stuff that's coming out of your mind. Well, let me tell you something. That's a very, very easy response to a video like that. Well, at least Wilder had to think about some excuses to bring up uh, uh, while preparing this video. But you guys are not even thinking about the possibility that actually something of that, if not all of that, is actually true. So that's even easier to say than, well, Wilder is simply not over it, and he's making things up simply to get his self-esteem back. And if you heard, for example, Teddy Atlas on his podcast, I think 2 days ago or something like that, he was even saying that, well, the thing with the spiking of the water is maybe something that's very hard to believe, but at least he admitted that the thing with the floppy gloves is something that really looks weird. So he said these are hard accusations, and of course they are hard accusations against a man like Tyson Fury, but Tyson Fury has a history of cheating, while Deontay Wilder hasn't. So I don't know why the whole world is basically backing up Tyson Fury, and only a very small minority of people is actually giving Deontay Wilder some positive feedback and back him and say, okay, let's go to court. Let's see if it's really true. Let's see how you can prove it. And it's very disheartening to see that the man who is the most charismatic in the heavyweight division, at least in my opinion, who brought it back to life when everybody was really talking about the boring heavyweight division with the Klitschko's who had a boring style and couldn't really well get the hardcore fans back into the heavyweight division. Now we have somebody who's bringing the hardcore fans back into the heavyweight division and also casual fans. So it's really sad to see that nobody is really thinking about the possibility that at least something, at least let's say 5% of what he's talking about is true. And when you read this article here, okay, where it says Tyson Fury, it is time for you to be a man and honor your agreement, which is of course true. If you are a man of your word, you always do that. And at the time, it was rumored that he was facing Carlos the Cam. Now we know it's another guy who's really a nobody, because I haven't really heard his name until now. And he then states, "Well, you must be kidding, obviously, because why do you not fight me? We have an agreement." And he said, "When you were going through your darkest time, I told you that I would that if you got yourself together, I would give you a title shot," which he did. And being a man of my word, I gave you that one. And when the fight was a draw, he even gave him a rematch. And now uh, uh, he says, "Well, now it is time for you to be a man and honor your word instead of trying to weasel out of your agreement. Scared people run, but a scary man will break his contract. You know what's written there." And another interesting thing, which I do not want to leave out, is of course that he said he agrees here. "I was offered more money to fight Joshua than I was getting to fight you." And people now say that that's the proof that he was running from Joshua and not Joshua running from him. But you cannot really say it so easily, because that was simply one offer that was enough money for Deontay to fight Joshua. So he wasn't running from him, but he was really standing by his word and saying, "Okay, I give you the rematch because it was a draw." And so he did. So he obviously wanted to fight Joshua for financial reasons, but because he had given Fury his promise to fight him again in a rematch, he didn't do so. So you can always interpret things in two different ways. You can say, "Well, now we know who was running from who," but on the other hand, you can really see that money isn't everything to Deontay Wilder, and that's his character. He's really a man of his word. He's a Christian believer, and he doesn't have any scandals in his private life we know of. There's no cases of domestic violence. He's got 7 children he has to care for, and he's really a great man. And I think it's so unfair that people freeze him out and don't want to give him a chance to regain his title, where he's been giving people chances for years. And that's so sad to see. And the video is on the one hand very disheartening, but I loved it, as you can see here, simply uh, uh, because he refers to the Bible, and he refers to things that are very important in my life as well. It's not always the one who's the big talker. It's sometimes better to simply stay silent and talk when it's needed to. So yeah, that's basically it. So let's watch the video for you guys who haven't watched it so far, and there we go. So you see, guys, who would really come out with such serious accusations if somebody doesn't really think that they are true? And I commented on Teddy Atlas's podcast that, well, those accusations are very hard, but that still doesn't mean that they are not true. And Tyson Fury hasn't really responded to them in a manner which would suggest that he really thinks he's not he's not responsible for the cheating he's accused of. So just insulting somebody or saying, well, that's all bullshit and that's all some silly stuff is one thing, but that doesn't really help you in court, right? So simply denying everything doesn't really help you in court. Proof evidence has to be found, and yeah, that's basically it. So I just wanted to share with you my opinion on this very tragic situation, and hopefully you guys can see that it's not as easy as it might seem. And yeah, that's basically it. So see you the next time, guys.